Hi guys, welcome to Scott Family Homestead. This weekend we worked really hard and we got our hay put up and brought to the house. So this is first crop hay, it's almost done. And we're getting it all moved up here for the cows. We also have a ton going on in the garden. So that's what we're gonna focus on today, is showing you this beautiful garden. It has kind of 4 sections. So we've got the garden out front of our high tunnel. This is our raised bed garden. I'll show you that first. Then we'll go into the high tunnel, which is all pretty much peppers and tomatoes, and they're doing great. We have a little outdoor garden out here with lots of sunflowers. We got more tomatoes. We'll show you that. Then in the back we have our fruit area. So we've got a couple of rows of blueberries where we're going to expand our blueberries. We actually have onions this year, and then we've got all of our fruit trees back there. Just for reference, we are in northern Wisconsin. We are zone 4. I believe we're 4A. And we have a very short growing season. It's mid-July, so we're about the halfway point. Things are just starting to produce. We're kind of in that time where we want to start thinking about fertilizing and treating some of the pest issues and all of that. So we're going to discuss all the details today. Alright, we'll start in our little raised bed garden. So I have a couple of types of raised beds in here. We have the VGO Raised Beds. These are new to us this year. So far we are loving them. The structure of them and the way they hold their shape is awesome. We also have some of the cheaper, I got these on Amazon, garden beds. These don't hold their shape as well, but it's a really budget-friendly option. So let me show you both of those. So this is the Amazon one, and I can link these. As you add soil to them, sometimes they start to bow out a little bit. This one is doing better than some of our other ones. They just have kind of standard joints here where they come together, and it's just not as thick of metal. But for the purpose of this, this is 2 years old, they're looking pretty good. This is my son's garden bed, and as you can see, it is pretty much overtaken with peas. We have so many peas growing in here. My plan was to pull these and plant pole beans, but the beans are doing so well and producing for such a long period of time that we are not going to get pole beans on here this year. This is just put onto a cattle panel trellis, a couple of T-posts on each side. He has a few other things in his garden as well. Actually, each of my children have a garden out here, a little garden bed. This one is my 6-year-old's. He planted this at school, this little Cosmo, for a Mother's Day gift, and now they're finally flowering. I just love that. He has yellow peas in his. I think they're called golden peas. He's got some lettuce, which is pretty much ready for the bunnies to eat. All my lettuce is kind of bolting now. We got some dill in here. He's got a lot of herbs, a couple of carrots. Most of these herbs were planted by me as filler in here. He must have thrown some zinnia seeds in here. This is all moss curled parsley. Absolutely love it. It grows so thick and beautiful. We'll freeze dry a bunch of that. So that's his little garden bed. This garden bed is primarily bush beans. I have a variety in here. We've got some Jacob's cattle beans and some dragon tongue beans and just some random dried beans that I had saved from previous years. And then I have a honey nut squash on the end that is starting to kind of cascade out. So I love that. In the corner here, this green stalk is pretty much done. This was all greens. At this point, we're pulling all these and giving them to the bunnies. And we'll probably replant this with fall greens pretty soon. Working our way around the corner. We've got some zinnias over here. I have some pests on these this year that are eating the buds. It's a tarnished bug. I'll have to get the actual name of it. Tarnish something bug. They're destroying the tops of my zinnias. I've seen them out here quite a bit, and I guess they kind of flare up after you cut hay. So when the neighbors and when we cut hay, I think they kind of came out. So we don't treat pests here, we do hand picking with these. There's just simply too many for me to hand pick. I'm gonna try some sort of sticky tape scenario to try to get some of them off the plants, and hopefully we can save some of these zinnias. But we mostly don't do any kind of sprays. We try to be completely organic and avoid organic sprays. I feel like you just never know. So we just try to avoid them as much as we can. Continuing in this corner, we have another green stalk. This one is just all leftover peppers. So we've got sweet peppers, hot peppers, and a few leftover herbs up here. So we've got some basils, rosemary, nasturtium, and this one was recently planted, so we'll see how that does as time goes on. So next bed is all carrots. Nice big bed of carrots. I've got my little toolbox here. This came with the VGO garden beds, and I have to say I actually really love it. It has drain holes in the bottom, but so far I haven't noticed any water getting in there, and the kids know where to find tools when they need them, so that's really helpful. This is just a mix of carrots. I think there's 5 or 6 different kinds of carrots in here. We got more peas against the back. I really got to pick some of these. Maybe in our farm stand this weekend we'll have peas. The carrots could probably use some thinning. I'm sure they're not very big yet. Let's see, this is one of the bigger ones. That's where we're at with the carrots. Not too bad for where we're at in the year. But we should probably go through here and thin some of this out just so that we can guarantee some bigger carrots. I do have a volunteer tomato in here. This came in our compost. I have no idea what kind of tomato it is. I'm very excited to see. It's starting to flower. But that got very big very fast. And a couple of melons over here. We have cucumber beetles. They are little yellow bugs with black stripes. I'm sure we will find some today on this tour. Here's the other little bugs that I have there. My nemesis right now, right there. Driving me crazy. Not sure if they're the ones eating these right now or if it's the cucumber beetles. That is the first half of the garden. We do have some chives and some mint. Always keep your mint in a separate container. It will go crazy. This bed is kind of a mirror of the other side. It has a little more grass and weeds in it, but this is also carrots with peas across the back and some zinnias on the end. Again, my greens are just not hanging in there right now. It's been way too hot. But we do have some herbs in here. And weeds. This is just a weed. We got sage. We got more parsley in here. These could all use a little bit of water. And my orange hat tomatoes up top are starting to ripen. Our little dwarf tomatoes. In this bed I have some nasturtiums and some zinnias. I have some cucumbers that are just not super happy in here. I had pretty low germination on these cucumbers, so I only have a couple. They are trying. I have lots of flowers, a couple of small cucumbers. So they're starting. Here's a couple of mating cucumber beetles right there. Get a view of them for you. They look like that. We're gonna squash those. A lot of times you'll find them in the flowers. Last year we had a big problem of them in our flowers on our squash as well. We just hand pick. I look at these every single day, pull any bugs that I see. Next door we've got our honey boat squash, and this one is huge. It's cascading out of here in all directions. That one will be a really fun one to see what we get out of that. And then out here we've got two more of the smaller garden beds. This one is our garlic. You can see the garlic is starting to brown up on the bottom. Once another leaf or two turns brown, we'll pull these. Some of them are small like this one, but we got some nice big ones as well. We did not plant as much garlic as we usually do this year because we had surplus last year. I do have some onions in the back. They're kind of on the smaller side, but I expect these will bulb out quite a bit more once all of this garlic is out of here. And my last garden bed here is my 9-year-old son's. He has, let's see, we got mini bell peppers, he's got some kale, zinnias, he has some carrots, a melon, not sure which type of melon he planted in here, and he's got some tomato plants as well. So I love this garden. If this garden was all that I had, I would be happy. Is producing a ton of food, and it's so easy to weed with the raised beds. I highly recommend raised beds if you have a small garden. It just makes it so that you can take it a few square feet at a time and deal with it. Once you start getting into the bigger stuff, it gets a little more complicated. All right, we did a major cleanup in here. We're now in the greenhouse. Got a lot of furniture out of here and just a lot of garbage and extra stuff. A huge weeding effort in here recently. But we have our little seating area. I absolutely love being in here. It's usually too hot except for in these morning hours. And I have a couple of beds back here that had greens in them. Most of the greens are done at this point, especially in here. It gets very, very hot. So I have some remaining greens in here. These will get fed to the bunnies. The rest of the high tunnel is peppers, tomatoes. We have zucchinis down the side. We've got some cabbages down the other side and cucumbers in the back. So let me show you around in here a little bit. Our peppers are starting to flower. Some of them have small peppers on them, like these jalapenos. I think these are lemon spice jalapenos right in front of us. And some are getting very large. I always have the best luck with poblanos. Just the plant size doesn't compare to anything else that we grow. Pepper-wise, they are huge producers in here. We really, really love them. So we do a large variety of peppers. I've got 3 rows of hot peppers and 3 rows of sweet peppers. In northern Wisconsin and having a short season, we grow a lot of smaller peppers. We don't do a ton of big bell peppers. The bell peppers I like to grow are King of the North peppers, and I do have a row of those. However, we prefer things like mini bells, banana peppers, jalapeno peppers, serranos. A lot of the smaller ones, we get a lot more productivity out of them and more than one harvest. Whereas with the big bell peppers, we just harvest them all at the end of the year. We get one harvest out of them, and it's not always super productive. So if you're looking for some good cold varieties, a lot of the smaller peppers are the way to go. The other thing, I no longer plant peppers out in my garden. You can successfully do that in Wisconsin, but they do so much better in a tunnel or a greenhouse. They love the heat. They grow so much better with a little bit of protection and heat. And so we have found that this is the only place we want to grow our peppers. I would even use a row cover or something outside if we did not have the greenhouse. Found a lot of success in having the high tunnel. Now we get to the tomatoes. Let me show you how big these tomato plants have gotten, because I did a video not that long ago on trellising the tomatoes, but I want to show you how tall they are. We got a couple of stray sunflowers in here. And then check out these tomatoes. They are as tall as the T-posts in some rows. Our 6-year-old for size. They're taller than him now. And they do have fruit setting. Now a couple of these rows I never did get to pruning. So these are very, very bushy tomato plants. The ones that we did prune have grown even taller. So you can see quite a difference in the plants on the ones that we trimmed up. We got nice big aisles. Everything stands up straight, so it's definitely worth pruning. We just didn't have the time to do all of them. We are loaded with flowers. And so far only minimal signs of blight, so I'm very happy in the tomato tunnel. We have cherry tomatoes set. They have not ripened, but they are coming in. We got Tommy Toes back here. We got a whole row of pink bumblebees. Then we get into our canning tomatoes. We have we have a whole row of Amish paste, and then we get to our beefsteak tomatoes. So we have mortgage lifters, mushroom basket tomatoes, and then we have all of our cute, pretty ones further back. Those are going to be like Paul Robeson's Black Beauty tomatoes, Dad Sunset. All the different colored tomatoes are closer to the peppers. I was really hoping that growing these in the tunnel we would avoid the cabbage worms, but they have arrived. You can see one down there. I picked off of this plant yesterday as many as I could find. The cabbage heads look great, but we did get the cabbage worms. This one's worse over here, it looks like. You can kind of see there are droppings in there, so there's definitely cabbage worms to be found. We planted them close to the end of the high tunnel, hoping that they would get enough air and wouldn't be too warm. So the heads are growing great, but unfortunately we did get the cabbage worms. There'd be a couple options for this. So we could cover them in netting earlier in the year to prevent them from having those little white moths land and lay their eggs and leave the cabbage worms. Another option would be spraying BT or something that affects the caterpillars so that they cannot survive on there. Right now we're just hand picking, hoping to save those nice big heads of cabbage. We don't eat a ton of cabbage, so as long as we get a couple, we'll be all right. We got a whole row in here, so I think we'll be okay. Headed towards the back, we've got our cucumbers. We've got our irrigation system set up in this back corner. I can already see, look at the cucumber beetles. They're everywhere. We were just out here yesterday, but I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see at least 4 right now. 5.
That's a lot of cucumber beetles to be on one cucumber.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, you can see they like those flowers. I'm gonna try, I have the yellow, they're like little yellow double-sided stickies that you can use for fruit flies and things like that. I kind of think that that might work in this scenario because they like the yellow flowers. They might go to that and get stuck. So I'm going to get some of those and try that out here, but otherwise I'm gonna just keep plucking those little buggers off. This plant is doing really well. Some of the other ones, not so much. These are a bushy cucumber, so they don't grow big, huge vines. I'm trying them for the first time this year, so I'll let you know how that goes. And normally we stick to like a Chicago pickling or a Boston pickling cucumber, but this year we're trying these. We're gonna see how they go. So far, the bugs love them. That's gotta be a good sign, right? I mean, this plant, I will say, has a ton of cucumbers and flowers on it. So I'm optimistic about that. We'll see how it goes. It has stretched probably about 4 feet out. Not a huge plant, but very productive so far. Got a couple smaller ones over this way. And then I do have some Kajari melons. We're trying these for the second time. I meant to trellis them, did not get to it. We'll see how these go. I don't think I would try these outside of the high tunnel. They do a little bit better with the heat. We're just gonna see this year how they do. So we got a couple of those.
And then we come to the zucchini.
Yep, we got some zucchinis starting in here. I've never grown these in the tunnel before, but I'm very happy with them so far.
We put them by the edge because they can get the air.
Yep, lots of airflow. Got a couple on this plant already started. We do have, as we go down, some yellow zucchini. Having these close to the edge, they still get really good pollination. There's really no issue with that.
Then if there's no bugs that pollinate come in, you could take a flower off and put on another flower.
Yep, you can self-pollinate pumpkins, zucchinis. You can even do it with cucumbers. You need to find a male flower, which is one that has a single stalk in it, like this. We peel the petals off of it, and then you find a female flower. They're usually closer to the plant, and they have multiple stalks on the center, or a flower shape on the center. You just rub that pollen in there, and then you'll be ensured that you get a fruit out of it.
And then we're going to come outside to the non-fenced garden.
Alright, now we get to our outdoor garden. We've got a lot of pumpkins out here, different varieties. We got a couple big rows of tomatoes. These haven't been trellised yet, but this row has. This garden is a bit more of a mess and harder to deal with because it is in an old hayfield. We have a big section of bush beans that are coming up in here. And then as we get further out, we have zinnias. So we did cut all the grass down in here this week so you can actually see them. But again, I have some beetle problems on these. Past the zinnias, we got a nice big row of cosmos. These are so fun and beautiful. My daughter just loves them. And then we've got the sunflowers. We got a whole sunflower field out here. Getting some helpers. Oh my gosh, did you dress her up? All right, so we've got a lot of this space is weedy, but it's going to likely grow in with all of the pumpkins because this whole edge here behind the sunflowers is all pumpkins that will hopefully grow out and kind of mulch that area for us. We did plant a couple things back here that were a fail. So I do have, just past all the cosmos, we've got potatoes. I think they're about done. They're totally weedy, and I don't know if we'll get a lot of production. But thankfully, They're fairly small varieties of potatoes. The Adirondack Blue and I think Yukon Gold I have in there. And whatever we get, we will use fresh. So as we need potatoes over the next few weeks, we'll just come dig up a couple plants, eat the potatoes, and be good to go. I also planted a small area of Fisher's Earliest sweet corn. We had really poor germination with it. I haven't even bothered weeding them out or anything. They're about knee-high right now. So not great, but we usually buy a lot of sweet corn and can it, so I'm not super worried about it. We didn't pull them. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some little ears of sweet corn.
Then we come to the blueberries.
Yes, here we have our blueberries. We have two varieties. These are the North Blue blueberries, and they grow nice big berries. Now they're just starting to get this brown spots to them. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to look into that. If anybody knows, let me know. I don't see it on very many of the plants, but this one does have it. These are a little bit more tart berries, but they grow nice big berries. So we've got a row of 10 of those. And then across from them, we have a row of 10 North Country blueberries. Now these are smaller, but I think that they are sweeter. They're very, very good. I see a little bit on there too. I'm gonna have to see if there's something we need to do on these berry plants to prevent that spotting. The kids beat me out here pretty much every day and eat all of the berries. They're just starting to come ripe. So it's a race against the clock. They get out here, they pick all the blue berries, and I just hope that they miss a couple. They're pretty good at it though. This is our first year with these berries. I did not expect a crop at all. I'm very impressed that they produced first year after planting them. If you're local, we got them at Hanson's Garden Village, and they were not bare root this year. They were actual plants, and they did great. We didn't lose any. We did plant them with a little bit of fertilizer. I have a video, if you go back on the channel, a little ways of us planting the blueberries. Overall, super happy and looking forward to expanding this. We're gonna do more rows of blueberries, and my hope is to also do a row of honeyberries. Now we're getting into the onions. So our onions are weedy. Talked about this previously. We have really struggled with keeping this cleared out. Ryan's working out here today. We pretty much work out here every day. I'd say we put in probably an hour of weeding per day at least. With the blueberries, we got the mulch down, so that helps a lot. With the onions, it's still a struggle. But the good news is they're still doing pretty good. You can see that some are bulbing to a really nice size, even with the weeds. So we just recently pulled these weeds, and the onions are doing okay. They've got a lot of time left, I'm hoping. And if we can get the rest of this grass cleared out of here, I think we're gonna be all right. This is one of those things that just got kind of last priority. They were a little bit too tedious with everything else that we had going on to keep up with the onions. Thankfully, I don't have a lot invested in them because we bought them in bulk and we sold a lot of them so that it was a deal for the people buying, but it helped cover the cost of some of my onions too. So I don't have a very big investment into it, which is maybe why I didn't put as much time into it. But we're still gonna have a ton of production. Even if I get small onions, I have a freeze dryer, so we'll just freeze dry what we can if they're not good storage onions, and we'll use them as onion powder. And we'll still get a lot of use out of them, so happy with that. I am not a perfect gardener by any means. We grow for quantity because we do a lot of canning and preserving projects. So you'll see we have a messy garden, but it produces what we need for our family. So I could have more raised beds and invest more money into it and more time into it, but it's very difficult on the farm when you have as much going on as we do. And so we're trying to simplify our systems a little bit and make things easier on us so that we can grow more food for our family in the area that we have. Now, if you remember in my initial planting video, in this area we planted a little pollinator's garden. It was supposed to have all kinds of cute little flowers and things, and the only thing that came up was ragweed. So we got rid of it. I mowed it down, and we decided that's where we're gonna store our hay. So we've got hay storage here. It's in the perfect spot right by the cows. I do also have somewhere in here a row of strawberries. Couldn't tell you where. Hopefully they show up next year and I can mulch everything. Real quick, I'll just show you the orchard. We don't have a whole lot going on out here. We don't have a lot of productive trees yet because they're all very young. So we've got apple trees on this side, and we've got pear trees here. I do have some pears on these trees. I don't know if they will amount to anything. We've got a few of them. A lot less than we did before. My next couple trees here are cherries. I had one beautiful looking cherry. I should have just picked it. I posted on my Instagram stories, but there was one single cherry on this, and I said, the birds will probably get this before I do. And they did. The cherry is gone. We also have peach trees here, but this one did not survive the winter. This one did, and it's actually doing quite well. So if this one looks like it's gonna survive, I might grab another peach tree to replace that one. Haven't decided yet. I don't know how much time and effort I want to put into that. But we do have a whole bunch of apple trees. We have other apple trees on our property. So in the meantime, we have plenty, but these will be our replacement trees. And hopefully have a full orchard here. With 4 kids, we go through a lot of fruit. So I'm really excited to have an orchard that will produce enough that we can can out of it, more than just eating. You can see through here, it's really beat up right now. We ran our meat birds and our turkeys through here probably a little too heavily towards the end of their rotation. They have now all gone to the butcher. We have another batch that's going to be coming out here in a couple weeks, but this will probably all recover by then. But the good news is it's all fertilizer. We run the chickens through here to fertilize the orchard. It's also surrounded on a couple of sides by electric fence. Not all the way, but it does help with predator problems. So we like to run them through that area. The other area we run them is on the other side of the high tunnel, between the high tunnel and the other electric fence. So far, we have not had any predator problems. And with the positioning of the fence kind of coming halfway around the garden, we also haven't had any deer problems. So we do not have a fence all the way around. Now we have the hay, which is kind of like a fence on the roadside. But otherwise it is open. We don't see a lot of deer close to the house though. I think just because of the cows, the chickens, the pigs, everybody making noise. Kids, they got a lot more forage space out there. They don't need all this stuff. So that is our garden. Do you have any questions or suggestions? Especially for the bugs. The bugs are getting us right now. It's that time of year where they just start to take over. And a lot of times I fight them as long as I can, and then I just let them have it. So as long as we get enough cucumbers to eat and can, I probably won't worry too terribly much about what happens with the cucumber beetles. We're gonna try a couple different things just to get on top of them, but what will be will be. Same with the cabbage worms, hand picking. We don't have a lot of kale that they would go after, just a few cabbages, so it's really not that tedious to go check them each day and just make sure we're not letting them take over. We're gonna probably fertilize here soon. Early on like this, I like just I get the Miracle Grow Organic shake-on fertilizer. It comes in a pelleted form and you just shake it on. I like that especially for the smaller raised beds. I do think that it helps a lot. I've already done that to my garlic. We picked all of the garlic scapes and then fertilized the garlic. So once you pick those scapes off, that's when they really start to bulb up, so you want to feed them with something. In the spring we had fed them with rabbit manure. We use that on a lot of our garden. We collect all of the winter rabbit manure. They have a lot underneath their hutches right now, so we can also use that in various places. And so for fertilizers, that's really what we're going to use for now. I'd really like to get a liquid fertilizer to put through the irrigation system once we have everything on irrigation. That would be super handy to just every once in a while irrigate with liquid fertilizer. So that's in the future, hopefully. Right now, the outdoor garden does not have irrigation. Thankfully, this has been like the wettest year ever. Not great for our hay, great for the garden. I think I've watered it once. So that's why you see some of the green stalks are drying up a little bit, and they dry out faster than our raised beds and in-ground garden. The green stalks are amazing, small space, places to grow, but they do take just slightly more watering and maintenance than a lot of our other stuff. Thank you for coming along on this garden tour. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. I appreciate all of you that are here. Make sure you are subscribed. Share this video with a friend if they are gardening in the north or if they just like gardening in general. We would love to show our garden to more people. We appreciate every single one of you that follows us on Facebook and Instagram, and our customers that come shop the farm stand and the store and buy meats from us. All of you are helping so much with what we're doing here on our farm, how we feed our kids, and what we're able to do for our community here in northern Wisconsin. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.